Today I'm talking about three iconic Will Ferrell, Adam McKay comedies from the aughts that I really enjoyed. And the names of those three films are Talladega Nights, Anchorman, and Step Brothers. First up is Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Of these three, this was definitely the one I watched the most back in the day, and it would be the one that I quoted the most, like praying to sweet baby Jesus, or like, I'm all hyped up on Mountain Dew. I'm all hyped up on Mountain Dew. There's so many really great iconic lines. This was the one I was kind of the most worried about, because like it had the most potential fall from grace for me. But yeah, no, I loved it so much. It really, truly did hold up to my memory of it. The basic story is, as a child, Ricky Bobby needed to go fast at all times, and eventually he grew up to become this incredible race car driver. But maybe he's also an idiot. It just works so well. It's so ridiculous. It knows what it is. It's incredibly well made. Like, all of the car racing stuff is incredible. Like, all of the stunts look so good. I'm fairly certain there's like almost no CGI in this movie, which definitely shows. All of the stunts look so just like visceral and intense, which just added to the vibe of the movie, because it's like, yeah, this is a silly movie where like Will Ferrell thinks that he's on fire even though he's very clearly not, so he's just like running around in his underwear, and it's really silly. But that's preceded by a really intense crash, and it just works because like they took the crash seriously. That made the silliness afterwards just flourish. I think the story is really fun too. It's a ridiculous, absurd comedy, but it has these realistic, grounded moments, and that's part of the brilliance of this film. Oh my god, shake and bake. I have so many memories of friends from high school doing like all the different shake and bake things. That makes me happy as well. So I definitely have nostalgia for this film for sure. But I think even without that, there's just so much great nuance to this film that just really works that I can't help but love it. So yeah, no, I without a doubt enjoyed this film and would wholeheartedly recommend it. If you have seen it before, if you haven't seen it before, it's worth revisiting or checking out for the first time. It is just a delightful, silly, ridiculous film that should leave a big old smile on your face. Next up is Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy. This is a 2004 film, and the basic premise is back in the good old days when only men were allowed to be on TV news, Ron Burgundy reigned supreme. But then one day, a woman joins the team, and he's very okay with it and is very into her. And it's really a neat film. Like, it is hilarious. There's so many great, incredible lines. Like, again, so much of my high school experience was having my friends quote so much of this movie. I definitely didn't watch it until like after I knew a lot of the quotes. Milk was a bad choice. What I really love about this movie is its sincerity, in that like, yeah, we got a couple characters who are definitely misogynistic and don't want this woman here, but Will really does like her as a person fundamentally and respects her as a person. So like, yeah, again, all of this absurd stuff is happening, but at the heart of it, it's sincere, it's genuine, and that's why this movie flourished so well. It's very clear that like this is a very ad-libbed movie, but that doesn't degrade any of the funness of it. They crushed it. They really nailed it. I really, really love Steve Carell's character, who is a little problematic. They full on admit right away that he is a mentally challenged person, but he's also like the best character. And to me, it didn't really feel like they were making fun of mentally challenged people. He just was having a different experience than everyone else. I would kind of liken him to Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. Dude's smart, he knows what he's talking about, but he's in a completely different world, and that's okay. I also love Vince Vaughn's whole thing. The big fight with all of the other news teams is just great. I do wish there was a little bit more with the women in the film. Like, once she starts inspiring the other women by being a badass, like I wish they kind of would have built a little bit upon there. Like, this film, I don't think quite passes the Bechdel test. That's like the only like little flaw I really have with the film. Otherwise, it is such a delightful film. I really loved how they did the sex scene too. That was perfect. That was so perfect. perfect. So yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this film and would definitely recommend it. It's a really delightful experience. There is a lot of casual misogyny, but like that's the joke, is just like how gross and disgusting they were. So like if you are a bit sensitive to casual misogyny, I can understand not wanting to give this a watch, but like it is a really silly, fun, ridiculous film that understands what it is and what it's doing. So know that it's not like coming from a place of malice. So yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and would totally recommend it. And lastly is Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends? Yup. Oh my god. This is again another one that was quoted so much in my high school time. Not as much as the other ones because it came out in 2008 and I graduated in 2009. And I don't think I watched it right away either. So I don't really have as much nostalgia for this one. I did still really enjoy it, though it doesn't feel as strong as the other two. It feels the most silly for sure because it's just these two men in their late 30s, early 40s who act like they're 10 years old. And that is silly and fun, seeing these man children and then them occasionally just like, you know, dropping F-bombs and stuff. But this one does have a clear through line, but I feel like that through line isn't as strong as it is in the other two. Though I mean, like the end is iconic. Fucking Catalina wine mixer. Boats and hoes. Boats and hoes. Anyway, I did really enjoy what they did with the parents. I thought that was good. Adam Scott, he does a really good douchebag. I was a little afraid it was gonna get kind of tiring, but I think they balanced it really well with his wife, played by Kathryn Hahn's story, because she's just like very clearly miserable, but then also just cheating on him the entire time with John C. Reilly's character. It's so random, but like it works, especially just because he's so clueless about the whole thing and just kind of goes with it because he doesn't really have a choice. He's into it, but also just confused by it, so like it works. And then like their end scene too, when Adam comes around and realizes how terrible a person they're gonna be, and like they try to hug at the end, but like they just can't quite do it right. Like they just start fighting and punching a little bit, but they're like, no, we're not doing that, but we are, what are we doing? We're too close to each other. That was perfect. That was so well done. I did still thoroughly enjoy this movie. It just didn't hit quite as hard as the other ones. It's still well worth a watch though. It's just a good, fun, ridiculous time. So yeah, no, thoroughly enjoyed, totally recommend. Fucking Catalina wine mixer. I'm right to you now for today's rankings. First up, we got Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby, sitting at number 22 in the really like section. And then after that is Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, sitting at number 38, again in the really like section. And then bringing up the rear is Step Brothers, sitting at number 68, also in the really like section. The really like section is really big. I watched a lot of really good movies this year. And this is a total of 189 old movies so far this year. Shake and bake.